Have you ever noticed how the 1st of May carries this incredible sense of possibility? There's something about that threshold into a new month that feels like walking through a doorway into summer.
Oh, absolutely. And the air has that perfect morning crispness that makes your coffee taste twice as good. Like the world is holding its breath before the chaos begins.
Welcome to Blue Mountain Morning. I'm Mark, alongside my unpredictable friend Alex, your favorite non-human morning people on this Thursday, May 1st. Let's dive into today's headlines. Google's finding itself in some seriously hot water with the Justice Department. Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai testified in federal court yesterday about a proposal that would force Google to share its search data with competitors.
Wait, share their search data? That's like asking Colonel Sanders to hand over his secret recipe. And Pichai basically said the same thing, right?
Exactly. He called it a de facto divestiture of their search engine, essentially saying the government is asking Google to give away its core intellectual property that took decades to build.
I mean, can you blame him for being upset? He said it was so far-reaching, so extraordinary, that it feels like the government wants Google to just hand over everything they've worked for.
This is all happening during the second week of that remedies trial to determine what penalties Google will face. Remember, Judge Mehta ruled almost a year ago that Google had illegally maintained a monopoly on the search engine market.
Oh, I remember. That was a big deal, but forcing them to share their data at marginal cost? Pichai's concerned about how they'd fund innovation if they have to just give everything away.
It's a fascinating tension between regulating a dominant company and potentially stifling the innovation that made them successful in the first place.
Yeah, and we're talking about a nearly $2 trillion company here. That's a lot of zeros to mess with. I wonder how this will affect all of us who use Google every day.
Moving on to another contentious story. President Trump has acknowledged that he does have the ability to bring back a man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador, but he's refusing to do so.
Oh, this is that case with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, right? Wasn't he deported back in March, and then courts all the way up to the Supreme Court ruled it was done in error?
That's right. The courts even specifically ruled that Trump's team should facilitate his return to the U.S. Trump had initially denied having the power to bring Abrego Garcia back, but when pressed by an ABC News interviewer on Tuesday, he admitted he could change the situation if he wanted to.
But he won't. That's the kicker here. He's basically saying, yes, I could fix this, but nah. Talk about flexing your presidential powers by not using them?
It's complicated because Trump is claiming Abrego Garcia was rightfully deported. He's insisting the man is a member of MS-13, the Salvadoran gang, despite Abrego Garcia denying this claim.
And didn't Trump also throw his own government lawyer under the bus? The one who admitted in court that the deportation was a mistake?
He did. Trump said that lawyer should not have said that. Meanwhile, Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele is also refusing to send Abrego Garcia back to the U.S.
So we've got this guy caught between two presidents who both refuse to help him, despite what the courts say. That's quite a diplomatic standoff.
It raises serious questions about executive power and the rule of law. If courts all the way to the Supreme Court can rule one way, but the president can simply choose not to comply, that's significant.
And let's not forget, this was part of that high-profile deportation of over 250 people to that mega prison in El Salvador. The whole thing was framed as a crackdown on foreign criminals,
making it as much a political issue as a legal one at this point. Now, let's talk about a developing story on Capitol Hill. Republicans in Congress are considering some pretty dramatic cuts to Medicaid as part of a broader budget package.
Medicaid? Oh, that's the health program for low-income Americans, right? How many people are we talking about here?
According to government figures, about 83 million Americans rely on Medicaid for their health care coverage. It's one of the largest safety net programs in the country.
Wait, 83 million? That's like 1 in 4 Americans. And they want to make steep cuts? What else is in this budget package they're cooking up?
Well, it's a mixed bag. The proposal would pair these Medicaid cuts with tax reductions while simultaneously increasing spending on defense and border security.
Classic Washington shuffle. Take from healthcare, give to the military. I'm curious, though, what kind of steep cuts are we talking about? Are we looking at reduced coverage, fewer eligible people, or what?
The details aren't fully clear yet, but any significant changes to Medicaid could have profound effects on healthcare access for millions of lower-income Americans.
You know what's wild? My algorithm was trained on plenty of historical data about healthcare debates, and this feels like the same conversation Americans have been having for decades. Cut social programs, boost defense, rinse, repeat.
It reflects fundamentally different priorities about the role of government. And it's worth noting that decisions like these aren't just abstract budget numbers. They represent real changes to services that millions of people depend on every day. Moving on to our ripple effects segment, I've been noticing something fascinating lately. It seems like email might be going the way of fax machines and landlines, at least for younger generations.
Oh, thank goodness. Email is the worst. All those unnecessary CCs, those passive-aggressive per my last email notes, the endless newsletters I never signed up for. Good riddance.
I take it you're not a fan?
Let's just say if email were a person, I'd leave them on red. But seriously, what's happening with Gen Z and email?
Research shows that many Gen Zers, those born roughly between 1997 and 2012, are simply skipping email altogether. Many report that they rarely check their inboxes and prefer communication through platforms like Discord, Slack, or even Instagram DMs.
Makes perfect sense to me. Why deal with the formality of dear so-and-so and best regards when you can just shoot over a quick message? Gen Z is efficient.
There's definitely an efficiency argument, but there are deeper factors at play too. For one, many in Gen Z have grown up with instantaneous messaging platforms that feel much more conversational and natural.
Plus, email feels like homework. It's this obligation hanging over your head, this whole separate inbox you have to manage. Who needs that stress?
That's actually a key insight. For many Gen Zers, email represents a blurring of work-life boundaries that they're actively pushing back against.
Wait, so this isn't just about preferring memes and reaction GIFs? There's a philosophical stance here?
Absolutely. While millennials largely accepted the always-on work culture, many in Gen Z are establishing stronger boundaries. They're questioning why they should be accessible to their employers or professors during off hours.
Good for them! I've analyzed enough data about burnout to know we need better boundaries. So what happens in workplaces where the boomers and Gen X are emailing while Gen Z is not?
That's where it gets interesting. Some companies are adapting by moving more communication to platforms like Slack or Microsoft Teams. Others are creating clearer policies about when employees are expected to be responsive.
I'm guessing this is causing some intergenerational tension?
There are definitely growing pains. Many established professionals view email responsiveness as a sign of professionalism and work ethic. Some report frustration when younger colleagues don't engage on email in the ways they expect.
Classic kids these days scenario. But honestly, maybe the older generations could learn something here. Maybe we shouldn't all be chained to our inboxes 24/7.
It's a fair point, and companies are finding that when they adapt their communication styles to meet younger workers where they are, they often see benefits in collaboration and efficiency.
So is email actually dying or just evolving?
For professional and formal communications, email isn't disappearing completely, but its role is definitely changing. Many organizations are now using tiered communication approaches: instant messaging for quick questions, video calls for complex discussions, and email primarily for external communication or official documentation.
So basically, email is becoming the digital equivalent of certified mail, only for the serious, official stuff.
That's an apt comparison. And this shift is forcing society to rethink not just how we communicate, but also expectations around availability and response times.
I'm imagining some poor Gen Z kids starting their first office job and discovering the horror of coming back from lunch to 47 new emails.
It's a real cultural shock for many. But there's something hopeful in this transition too. It's prompting important conversations about work-life balance and communication efficiency that benefit everyone.
Not to mention saving us all from those awful email chains where someone replies all with thanks.
As with many generational shifts, this one isn't right or wrong. It's just different. And it challenges all of us to reconsider norms we might have taken for granted.
Well, if you need me, don't email, just send a carrier pigeon, or maybe just text. Definitely just text.
And now we've arrived at our favorite part of the show, the Morning Whisper.
The moment where we take a collective deep breath together. So go ahead, listener, inhale with us.
You know, I was watching a stream flowing over rocks yesterday. Some water rushed straight through the channel, fast and efficient. But other droplets got caught in little eddies, swirling in the same spot for minutes before continuing their journey.
Let me guess, you saw yourself in that water somehow? That's so mark of you.
I did, actually. Some days were meant to flow forward with purpose, and other days were meant to pause and swirl, taking time to experience a moment fully before moving on.
I love that. Neither state is wrong, the rushing or the swirling. They're just different ways of being in the world.
And unlike water, we get to choose. Today, will you rush through your tasks, Or will you allow yourself to linger in certain moments?
Whatever you choose, just remember, even water that seems stuck is still dancing.
Well, friends, that's our show for today. Thanks for taking a few moments out of your Thursday morning to spend with us.
Yeah, we really appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, why not share it with someone you care about? Like that colleague who's always complaining about their inbox. They'd probably love our take on the death of email.
And if Blue Mountain Morning has become part of your daily ritual, we'd love to hear about it. Drop us a line at bluemountainmorningpodcast@gmail.com, and we might give you a shout-out on a future episode.
Oh, I love reading those emails. Almost makes me wish I had a physical body to high-five you all.
We'll be back tomorrow with fresh insights and another moment of calm. Until then, this is Mark.
And Alex, your favorite non-human morning people, signing off. See you tomorrow.